And good morning, everybody. I have to say, I feel different this morning. I feel different this morning. It's
Different than what?
well, I've been, I don't know, for a few weeks, like I've had this almost like a weight on me, like energy has been really kind of sort of like walking through mud, you know. I've moved forward and got things done and worked on my program that I'm doing. I'm building a coaching certification program. But today I feel, I don't know, like really huge, like I just felt it, joy and lightness. And I want to cry right now.
Go ahead.
Now, you might be asking, what happened last night, overnight? What is different than yesterday than today as far as what I've done or nothing. You know what's different is my perception, how I see things. That's the difference. That's the only difference. So nothing has changed. $1 million did not drop in my checking account last night. So it wasn't anything on the outside of me that changed. It's something in here, and it feels really cool. It's almost kind of scary-ish. It's like, wow, just really joy and happiness, and so grateful for everything that we have in our lives. So I'm gonna cry.
There you go.
I think I get to hear my eldest daughter, who's going to be 39 coming up. She's 38. Is pregnant for her. No, she's 39. My gosh, she's going to be 40. No, she's going to be 39. She's 38 because I'll be 59 this year. Okay. Anyway, she's having her first child, and she sent the heartbeat. She went in and had her appointment yesterday, and she sent the heartbeat over the phone, and so that was really cool. And I don't know, just we have a choice of how we're reacting to the world around us with everything that we see going on in the world. A lot of stuff happening. We send love and prayers to anybody who is suffering today. In other countries, in our own country, just humanity itself. But in the meantime, we don't have to suffer with them. We need to be strong, and we need to have our wits about us so that we can take care of our family and the people around us and ourselves. So don't get bogged down into and get mired into the stuff. You can be an observer and see what's going on so that you can make good decisions for yourself, but don't get emotionally bogged down, because that'll only get you in the mud, and then you won't be able to get out, or it'll be tougher to get out. I know it's difficult. I'm just here to let you know that, how you feel is how you feel, and that's okay. But we do have a choice in terms of our daily lives, and that we can be grateful for what we have. Gosh, I'm so grateful that we don't have bombs flying over our head, or running for our safety at this point. So that's my message for today. And maybe that's what this feeling of mine is about, is just being so grateful for being able to get up and work out, and being able to, here's the other thing that's going on with me. I've started using somewhat a heavier kettlebell with part of my workout. And so this is my advice to you. If you're working out or doing something physical and things are getting boring and stagnant, and you're like, oh, I don't know if I want to continue this, it's pretty boring, then ramp it up, do something different, change up something, because that'll bring the excitement and the passion back in. So using that, you do crack your neck when we're talking. Someone mentioned that. Aaron said, don't do that, David. And what it's done for me using that bigger kettlebell is it's brought some excitement, real good excitement back into the workout, because it's a challenge. And it's like, oh, I'm going to get up this morning and I'm going to work out with that heavier kettlebell, and it's going to make a difference in my body. And I'm ready to do that. I've been working with the smaller kettlebell for about a year. And so now I'm ready to just barely start with a bigger kettlebell. I wouldn't recommend going higher for anyone that's just starting out, obviously. It takes time, but God, is it satisfying?
Yeah, and it's a really, like Kendra said, she worked for a long time with the earlier kettlebell. This is not like Western weightlifting where you're going to go up 2.5 pounds every week or so and lift heavier and heavier and heavier weights. That's not what kettlebell's about. You need to let your body acclimate to one kettlebell. Once it is fully acclimated, then you can start experimenting with another. And as soon as you're ready, move up all of your exercises to that heavier kettlebell once you're ready. And then stay with that for another 6 months or a year. You don't need to keep moving up. You need to move up in significant increments. 1/4 pood. Pood. Yeah.
I thought of that word yesterday, pood. So say it, you guys. Say it. Go say pood. This is a funny word, isn't it?
1 pood is 16 kilograms. So go up in 4 kilogram increments or more.
Yeah, it'll bring some. I don't know. So now I'm like, oh yeah, I can't wait to work out this morning because it is a challenge. And I'm only going to do part of the workout. And put a smile on your face, you guys. I feel good today. All right, we're going to get going with a little bit of a warm-up. Yesterday we did the body tapping. We're going to go back to our regular scheduled warm-up. And I'll give the floor to David.
Let's do it.
Adjust my camera a little bit. There you are. There you are. I see you. All right. Now we're just going to bounce. We've talked about this many times. Just drop your arms down. Wow, this feels good. All the tension is just coming right out the tips of my fingers. And you can imagine that when you set your attention on that. So just picture it just going from your shoulders out the tips of your fingers. When you think about that, it actually happens. You can literally picture it in your mind. Same thing with these karate chop hands or wicking water off your ends of your fingers. You're dropping your shoulders. It's sort of like you're going, oh, what is that stuff on my hands? And you can just picture the stress just coming out of your shoulders all the way down at the bottoms of your fingers. Heart openers, this is one of my favorites because when we open our arms, we can feel the gratitude of every single thing that we have in our lives. The fact that we're here, the fact that we're able to work out together, build strong bodies, strong minds. And as we come around, we tap the body to wake it up, to get our cells going, our blood going, skin activated, all that good stuff. Just feels really good. And a little bit of a body twist here. And as you notice, David is turning at the hip crease and also bending his opposite knee. You don't want to injure any knee joints or anything like that. And as we come around, we can tap our body wherever our hands land, continuing to just get our circuits fired. I like that, circuits fired. Neck rolls, nice and easy. Just a nice, easy neck roll, whatever you want to call it. It's not a cinnamon roll. I think the other thing that's been happening is I'm doing a little bit better in terms of eating, making sure that I'm nourishing my body with healthy food. I'm not overindulging in stuff that tastes yummy but really isn't good for my body. And just looking for different ways to do that because we also want to be able to enjoy our food. We don't want to be stuck in a rut of just eating and not feeling the sensations of the beauty of the food. So there are lots of things that we can make or choose that are considered a treat, but you don't have to always go with the high sugar, processed. That's the thing, processed. If you ever want to listen to somebody that's super knowledgeable about our food, the way that we grow our food in this country, the way that you should be growing the food, and what you should. Dr. Zach Bush, MD, look him up. He is an amazing human being, first of all. He's so knowledgeable, and he really is on a mission to what?
Nothing. You're good.
What are you
I was
laughing
thinking
about?
about Zach.
Oh, I was like, what are you laughing about? My hip rotation? This is the move it or lose it move. He is really all about teaching people sustainable farming, non-GMOs, what GMOs are, what they do, the vaccine, what it does, what it doesn't do. Super, super interesting. He's really young. How old do you think he is?
I don't think he's 35.
And we're doing knee rotations right now. I think he's about that age.
Okay.
But he used to work in the field of what was
Hospice care.
hospice care, end of life care.
3 medical degrees.
Yeah, he's great. Dr. Zach Bush, MD. Look him up. He just did a talk on it was Earth Day. He did this really fascinating talk on GMOs and full of information. It's a little depressing, although part of what he does is he gives the truth about what's going on with our food and how our government and everybody else is not understanding it and why they do it. And then he gives a solution of how we can all work together to create a better life.
You want to go with the heavy one to start?
Well, it depends on what we're doing.
Just going to warm up with.
You see me looking at it, I'm like, wait a minute, that's my heavy one over there. All right, I'll give the floor to Mr.
Okay.
Sensei.
So we're going to start with our heavy bell. So we're going to do some of the things that we can use a heavy bell for. Starting with some deadlifts. 2 hands on the belt. Feet forward or slightly out. Shoulders seated. Tighten your core and lift. Go to 10. 6, 7, 10. All right. We go for 10 swings. Here we go. 1, and set it down. Very nice. Okay, we're going to use the hips, swinging it up to the rack. Going to go a little bit further up, a little bit more challenging. What I'm looking for is at the top, when you swing it up and you hold to the rack, solidify. Find that position where you're just one solid column of muscle holding that kettlebell in place. Don't release everything when you bring the kettlebell down. Release here. Keep your core fired. Keep your shoulders fired. Keep your legs engaged.
Not happening now, it's really coming up. So you can see it behind us. I kind of like it.
All right, here we go. One hand on the bell. Bring it to the rack. And swing. 2, 3, 4, 5. Change hands. 2, 3, 4, 5. Set it down.
We both took a nice deep breath. Don't forget to breathe when you're doing this, guys.
Bring the kettlebell close to your right foot. Handle east and west. Turn your feet to the right. Left hand on your left hip. Right hand on the inside of the thumb. Kick the hip back. Grab the bell. Now, before you lift it, look at your back leg. Is it bent? If it is, straighten it. Now, look to see whether or not it's straight up and down. If it's straight up and down, push it further back until it's angled to the back. Hand on your hip, tighten your core, push the hip across. 2, 3, 4, 5. Sit down. Point your feet to the front. Slide it to the left foot. Point your feet to the left. Hand on the right hip. Left hand inside of the thigh. Down until your hand touches the handle. Check to see that your back leg is straight and angled back. Grip the bell, tighten your core. Seat the shoulder, push the hip across. Very nice, folks. Very nice. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and do 2 presses overhead on each side with the heavy weight. Now, if you try and do this with your arm, it's not going to work. Or it might work, but it's not going to be safe. The way to make this work is use your hips and hard enough where it throws it, maybe just this high. As it's moving, add the strength of your arm and go to full lockout. Here we go. Start, bring it to the rack. And you need to get under it with a locked elbow.
Nope.
All right. Try the other side. And pull it in. Set it
You my bones cracking.
down. Yep. Now, did you feel how that you were pushing it? I mean, that was good. It shows a lot of strength to be able to do a press. But the key is, and let's go ahead and go down to a lighter weight. I'm going to take this.
Well, I think for this, I would have to do swing to the rack and press all in one motion in order to really get it up there. Because I don't have enough momentum with the hips to get it up there that way. I just
Okay.
don't
All right. So
that way.
we're going to put this together, swing to the rack and press. We're going to do, let's do 10 on each side, but we'll do all 10 in a row, so we won't break 5 and 5. Reach down and grab your bell. Now, here's what I'd like you to do. For a moment, close your eyes. Imagine that you have the heavy kettlebell you just had. Feel how heavy it is. Feel it pushing down through your feet. Make a fist with the other hand. Squeeze it. Now, throw the kettlebell. Get underneath it. 1. Oh, we're supposed to be doing swings, aren't we? Swing it. Right. Press. Return. Swing. Right. Press. Return. Swing. 3. 4. Go to 10. 5. Last one. And change hands. 1. 2. 4. 6. 7. 3 more. 8. 9. 10. Set it down. So by the time you get to 10, it starts to feel like a heavier kettlebell, doesn't it? Absolutely.
In the beginning, you're like, oh, this is easy. Or number 3. Then about number 6, you're like, oh, I'm not sure if I'm going to make it. So
Yeah.
it is a challenge. But I like it. I like it.
What I find is that when you start with that heavier one, your mind goes right to having really good form, really pushing, so that when you go to the lighter one, you're starting to do it right away with good form.
Some of it is psychological, because when you told me to think of it as a heavy kettlebell, I did, and then I couldn't push it up. So if I think of it as lighter, then I'm able to do it.
Well,
and so it works differently. You'll have to play around with the psychology with this.
Indeed.
That may work for him, but it does not work for me.
Well, it does work for me, and it does work for you too. The point is to make it feel heavy. But what I'm getting at is that there are multiple ways of training, and one of the things that we really, really want to do is ensure that we are using absolutely perfect form, not 98%, not 99%, 100% perfect form. And the only way to do that is to challenge yourself to the point that you must use correct form in order to do it. Now, when you have a light kettlebell, but you psychologically think it's heavier, your mind makes you do good form, even though it doesn't have to, which is the point of what we're doing. It allows you to, in a safer way, practice what would be a heavier weight. Does that make sense?
Not really.
It's okay. It doesn't. A lot of this stuff doesn't make sense in the beginning. It takes time. It takes a long time to get your body to acclimate, and it takes a long time to wrap your head around what we're doing. These are not.
To me, it makes it harder.
It does. That's the point.
Well, I don't want to make it harder. I want to make it easier. And I think my opinion is, and maybe I'm wrong because you're the trainer, but my opinion is that if I think of it as the regular size, which is easy for me these days, then I can really get good form, because it's easier for me to get it up there. When I think of it as harder or heavier, I can't even get it up there. And I don't care what form I'm using, it's not going because I'm thinking of it as a difficult thing.
That's right. The mind is a very powerful thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So
An interesting way to look at it.
what we're going to do next is we're going to do our switch rack with our lunge. So we're going to start with just the switch rack. So take your kettlebell, swing it to the rack position. Now what we're going to do is we're going to swing the kettlebell again to the rack position, but we're going to switch hands as we do. So this hand is going to go right through the handle and hand it to the other hand. Just like that. And switch. 2, switch. 3, switch. 4, switch. 5. One more. And hold. Now, take the opposite leg, step back into a lunge. Come up, feet parallel, swing, and switch. Step back with the other leg. And lunge. Swing, switch and lunge. Four more. And set it down. Very nice. Very nice indeed.
Ooh, taking a deep breath. That's heavy cardio.
It is. That's a
It felt
heavy
like
cardio move. All right. So what we're going to do last for our lifting here is an overhead press. I'm sorry, an overhead squat. This is one of the more difficult exercises in kettlebell. At first, you may only be able to move a couple of inches. It takes a lot of flexibility to be able to do this exercise. And like doing downward dog, those exercises, it's the low back and the upper back that need to work. And it's a forward and back flexibility. So let's start like this. Take your hands, bring them up over your head, and try to grab your elbow, both elbows behind your head, like so. And now feet wide, pointed out slightly. Sit back into your hips and squat. Now, try, so your feet are too far out. Yeah. And yeah. Right. Try and make sure your knees don't flare out. Make sure your hips are going back and knees stay still. Good. And release. So the movement is here. And you can bring this one around behind you if you like to help. You'll immediately feel that challenge, the flexibility. Yeah, you might only be able to move just a couple of inches and back up.
I can just barely even move.
Watch this. Just a little bit. What that's going to do, it's going to point out very strongly exactly in your back where the flexibility needs to
What if you can't get down hardly at all? What does that mean? You hold back.
If you
it's
can
not
only
flexible.
move a couple of inches, then you should only move a couple of inches.
But what does that mean about your back?
It means that it's pointing out precisely where the flexibility is.
Which is where?
Well, it's different for everyone.
Okay.
So some people might feel it very strongly right here.
I don't really.
Some people might feel it very strongly right here. Some people maybe right here.
Okay. So pay attention to where you're feeling.
Pay attention to where you're feeling it.
Gotcha.
This is going to point out where the limitations of your flexibility of your spine are. And if you've never done this before, expect to be able to move a couple of inches.
You can use a light kettlebell for this,
If
right?
you don't practice it, it doesn't improve. If you do practice it, it improves.
What are those ones that, like?
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, other bell. Or other side, rather. Bring it up. Press overhead. Keep the arms straight. Sit back into the hips. 1, 2, 3.
I feel like I was, the other thing, and I can see it in the
You feel
camera.
yourself going
Yeah, sideways.
good. If you can feel it, you can fix it.
Well, I can't really feel it. I see it.
Well, if you can
So,
see it, then it'll draw your attention to it so that
And-
eventually you can fix it.
and it should be straight, correct?
It should be straight,
Okay.
or as straight as possible. One of the things about when you do kettlebell exercises, because you have the weight in one hand, it allows for the asymmetries, the lack of symmetry in your flexibility and movement of your body. When you take two hands and you grab a bar, now you are limited by the symmetry of your body. You'll be able to do it as long as you are symmetrical. Those forces, if you anchor your feet, anchor your hands, and then start putting forces through your body, they're going to come out somewhere. They're going to come out. The force is going to come out wherever you are not aligned. So this one-handed swings, one-handed presses, one-handed squats allow for the asymmetries of your body so that they can then be corrected safely. Does this make sense?
Yep, that does make sense.
We try to say things that make sense. Okay, so let's finish off with some swings. You want to grab a heavy one for swings?
Yeah.
All right, choose your weapon.
Bugsy, go down.
Go down, Bugs.
Go down, Bugs.
All right, let's do 50 swings. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 10. Halfway, 26. And more. Set it down. Very nice.
Okay, sunshine.
Jasmine, Jay, Alejandro, Neil. We'll see you guys.
Thanks for joining us, guys. Wow. I need to take a deep breath there.
Steve, Ashley, Jackie, Tammy
Wow, we have a whole troop here today.
is
Thanks
over
for
here.
joining us. I'm not sure if that one is still.
Could be off.
Yeah,
Not
I
bad.
can't really tell. I can see a little bit of it. Wow. Thanks, guys, so much for joining us this morning. We're halfway through the middle of our week. I hope you're making it a great week, no matter what's going on around you. And choosing to take care of the one and only human body that you've been given to take care of. It matters. And it matters to your day as well. When you start out with a good foundation, it's the truth, because we live that. Sending you love, joy, peace, and happiness. Special healing energies for anyone who may be suffering today, in the hope that they find some peace. See you here tomorrow morning, bright and early, 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bye, everybody. Have a great day. Love you.